Okay, guys. Let's look at the soda machine task now. First of all, when is the machine refilled? Yes.
Around 11 a.m. and 4:30.
Okay, around 11 a.m. and 4:30. Okay, so how do you know that it's refilled?
Because it's way to the top.
Because what? Oh, because it goes to the top. Okay, so well, first of all, let's look at the slopes. Where is there? Yes.
But don't we go up at like 12 too?
Right, and that's what we're going to talk about. So where is there, first of all, positive slope in this problem?
At 10,
28 and 11.
15, 10, 20.
Right, between about 10:15 and 10:20. So here's a positive slope. And where else is there a positive slope?
12 to like
12, 15 to 1.
Right. And if you guys just estimate that time, it's perfectly fine. And is there any other
from
time?
4 to all the way to the top.
4 to 4 or 5.
Right. So now where are the slopes negative?
From 7
From 3 to 3:30.
right there.
Okay, so right here, you said 3 to 3:30.
From
From
11:30
45
to 12.
to 12.
From
5
and
then 5
Right, and then you said from 5 to 6.
and from 12,
And from
well, about 1 till 3.
Bitch, from 8 to
Right there.
10, that's like it's positive too.
8 to 10? That's
Yeah.
positive, or is this
That's
negative?
It's negative.
Y'all don't touch it.
Right. So it's negative, right? Okay, so now do you see any parts of the graph where it's neither positive or negative?
At the top.
And at the very
It's
bottom,
neutral.
3
Right.
to 4.
So right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll put a little star there. And where else?
Over.
3:30 to 4.
3:30 to 4.
And then back up.
Yeah.
And then right up here, right? Okay, so what does the negative slopes in this context tell us?
That's when people are buying sodas.
Right, it's when people are buying sodas. Because we're going from full and now we're going a little bit less than full, right? So that means there's less sodas in the machine. So the only reason would be because people are buying sodas. And now what about the positive slopes?
That's when that's refilled.
Right, that's when it's being refilled. But where I think some of you said was that when it reaches the top it's being refilled.
Yeah.
But even though this part right here isn't being refilled,
It's
can
wait.
sorry, it's not being all the way to the top, can it still be refilled?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, but what's happening in this case as opposed to this big case?
It's probably when it's supposed to be filled. Like all the way to the top. Because
So you're saying this isn't filled.
I mean, it's filled, but it ain't filled all the way to the top. It's like when they run out, they gotta put something in there. So I guess they just put something in there instead of filling it. 'Cause they might have like a specific time. They gotta put something in.
Right, so you're saying that it's not refilled all the way. It's
Right.
refilled, but it's,
It's
not
not
to
full.
max.
To the top,
Right, it's not
right.
full. It's not full. Okay. So now what does it mean in the context when it's neither negative or positive? What does that mean?
Either nobody bought sodas or it didn't get refilled.
Right, okay, so this part, what does that mean?
It was filled until
That's like the
7:30.
starting part.
it was full to the
Early in the morning.
Yeah.
so
It's
people
cool
got
until they got to
school.
school, right? So we can assume that maybe they get to school around 7. That's a little earlier than us.
7:30.
But 7:30, right? So we can assume that nobody was in school, right? Okay, so now, what about this part? Anna?
They're probably in class.
They could be in class, right? They
They
could be in class.
Lunch.
Yeah, lunch gotta start.
The ones that wasn't in lunch.
Yeah, they refilled it for
For
lunch.
lunch.
They be kicking the thing.
Right, so where would you say they refilled it for lunch?
At like 11. Well,
Like
about
10:30 to
Let me look at mine.
Okay, right, so maybe this was their lunchtime, so maybe they refilled it for lunch.
Then all the way down.
And then maybe nobody was maybe it was that transition period where nobody was in the hallways or nobody was in the lunchroom at that time.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it represents.
Not even that.
Okay, so now what about this part right here?
The landlady wanted nothing but.
Well, would we have
I think,
lunch around 3:30?
No.
no.
It's about that time to go home.
Right, so that's the time they're leaving, so maybe everybody's just
They're
Chilling.
trying to fold out of here, right?
This is a college.
Oh, I mean, this is high school.
Oh, why did I say Central?
Central High.
All I heard was Central.
It's not South Central, don't worry, it's just
No, I
Central.
was thinking of Central College.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so between 3:30 and 4, what did you guys say?
They're leaving home and the machine is empty.
Right, and nobody's refilled it yet, right? Okay. So now, what could we say about maybe,
After school.
After school, right, so-
after school sports events and teacher work meetings.
right, so that's a good thought. So obviously, students are out of school by then, and so maybe they refilled it for the end of the day, and then, right, like you said, maybe there's sports, or maybe there's a wrestling match or a track meet, and there's parents or tutoring, right? And so people are thirsty, so I guess it is consumed more rapidly, right? So based on our graph, at what times is the soda consumed most rapidly?
Around 11.
Around lunchtime.
Yeah, around like 11 to 12 something.
About where? Around here?
Yeah.
Okay, so what made you conclude that
Because it had the biggest downfall slope.
the biggest slope, right? So remember when we were talking about slope. So so you would say that this slope is increasing more than, let's say, I guess they're all pretty much increasing pretty much. But yeah, so I would say around there. I mean, all three of these slopes are really similar to each other. So if you would have said any of these three, like the one from about 10:20 to 11, or a little bit before 11, and then a little bit after 12 to 1, and then from 4 to 4:30. I mean, sorry. What I meant to say was the difference between this slope and like this slope, right? So this slope, why is this slope maybe a little bit less steep? Do you think? Keisha, why do you think this slope right here is a little bit less steep than this one?
They didn't drink as much.
Right, so maybe they didn't drink as much in the morning, so the machine didn't become empty as quickly. Alright, so now for the last one, what problem or problems does Central High School face? So Marissa, what did your group come up with for the problem or problems that the Central High School faces?
A lot of people want studies that run out easy.
A lot of what?
A lot of people want studies that run out easy.
Okay, so explain a time when a lot of people want soda and it runs out quickly.
About 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock.
Okay, so, well, at 9 o'clock, do a lot of people really want soda that much?
I said 11 to 1.
You say from 11 to 1, and they
No.
have a problem between that time?
No, from 11 to 12.
Okay, so what are these problems? So instead of just saying like what part of the graph the problem is, what are the problems? What are any problems that they're facing with the soda machine?
People run out of
They drink too much soda, right, but let's look at the slopes and the empty and fill lines. And then now let's see any problems that they face. See, is there really a problem between this part of the graph?
No.
No, because you can still come on over and grab a soda out of the machine, right? So with that said, is there any time where you see a problem?
Yeah,
In this graph? Okay, so Nellie, where would you see a problem?
12:15 when it's empty already.
From 3 to 4.
Okay, so at 12:15 it gets empty really quick, right?
And
And
have to
from
refill it. And then when you get around 3:30, it's like already falling down to empty.
right, and I would say that might be a problem that there's a whole 30 minutes where it's empty, right? And so, did you guys come up with a reason or a solution as to how we could fix that emptiness?
Stop selling sodas.
What was that, Marissa?
Stop selling sodas.
Stop selling sodas? Well, what if we can't stop selling sodas?
Well, add different machines, different drinks.
What if we only had one machine?
Put in another
Just have
right
right.
before it's time for the other one.
Okay, so put in another refill time. So where do you want to put in another refill time at?
Before 3:30.
Before 3:30, so just maybe any time in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe if we put in another refill time, we can
Yep.
keep this from happening, right?
You can fill it every hour.
You can what?
Fill it every hour.
Fill every hour? I mean, you could do that, it might get a little too time consuming. But what about, did anybody come up with a solution that has to refer to this point right here?
You can fill it
Fill it
all
all
the way
up to
up.
the top.
Okay, right, so let's say we fill it all the way up. Then,
You'll still have a lot more service
right, so let's say if we fill it all the way up, we'll extend this, and maybe it's still consumed at the same rate. But now this time we have this much sodas more, right? This many sodas more. So maybe it won't become, Completely empty. right, so maybe it won't become completely empty by the time you have to refill again. So this might, all of your examples were really good as to why. So we can either add maybe another time to refill. Maybe if the lunch ladies aren't too mad about it, maybe they can do it every hour, like Devontae said. Or maybe we can just refill it all the way up here. And maybe if we add in another time, we might not ever get to the empty spot, right? But what's the difference between this empty spot when it's empty and this one?
That the first empty spot around 12:15 is like, they refill it like quickly.
Right.
Compared to the 3:30, they take a whole 30 minutes to refill it.
Right, so in this one, it looks like as soon as it becomes empty, they jump right on it, right? And they fill it all back up. So that's not as much of a problem, except you might have, since obviously this time is very, very popular to get a drink, maybe that might